While toys top the list for holiday gifts, one of the best gifts a parent can give to their child is to teach them financial literacy. That's because children whose parents give them opportunities to manage money when they're young often grow up to be financially responsible. And while it could seem impossible to teach kids money lessons around the holidays, there are several fun lessons that parents can incorporate this season. From budgeting when purchasing gifts, to giving kids a chore break when they give to charity, to mimic the tax break that parents receive when they donate, to helping their kids invest the monetary gifts that they receive, Northwest Indiana financial advisor Greg Hammer is here with us to provide several ideas to help parents teach their kids that money matters, even during the holidays. Greg, as always, thank you for joining us on Regionally Speaking.
Thanks for having me, Dee.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Greg, you state that one of the best gifts a parent can give to their children is teaching them how to manage money. How is that possible when the holidays are all about excess?
Well, Dee, I think the main reason you want to teach the kids the money lessons is so they will become financially responsible as adults. And even though, we're in the middle of a season of spending, it's important to set that example for your children. And, often kids pick up more on what we do as adults rather than say. So if they see mom and dad purchasing in excess, they could easily replicate that and that behavior, not just today, but in the future.
You know what? You're correct. That is actually a good tip. And I know you're a father, so I just have to ask you, does this idea work with all kids?
Well, Dee, kids are all different. We know that, right? And I've noticed that not all the approaches I've used, even with one daughter, work with the other daughter. And kids react differently to how you instruct or try to teach them. So being kids or young adults, the parents, what we're listening can pick and choose from ideas, that we're discussing today to see what works. And the important thing is, parents to get started and implement, some financial lessons because as a financial advisor, I can tell you that, unhealthy bad habits can be crippling when trying to reach financial goals.
That's true. Now, Greg, before we get into some of the suggestions, how should parents who haven't had money discussions with their kid approach the money talk?
So be honest, right, with the kids and explain to the kids and young adults that these money tasks and strategies are the same money tasks and strategies that mom and dad use to save for the house, to save for retirement, when mom and dad stop working, even for like college expenses. And since managing money is a lifelong responsibility, rather than being preachy or scolding to the kids, parents can try to work along with the kids while they're making some of their money decisions, but still give them some autonomy to make some financial decisions on their own. So this will help build their financial confidence while having the security that, mom and dad are still overseeing it, making sure they're not making mistakes.
Right. You know what, Greg, that makes a lot of sense. Now, I have a stumper question for you. Kids enjoy purchasing holiday gifts for loved ones, and you suggest that before they do, they create a budget. Budgeting for everybody, especially kids, can seem boring. Why is it so crucial?
Well, it's just the simplicity that individuals who don't budget associate budgeting with being constrictive, right? So whereas individuals who do budget think it's kind of the opposite of boring and even exciting because they know they are controlling where their money is going and when they will reach their financial goals. A specific example that we use is budget for vacation, budget for fun money. Those are the ways that you can actually find the money to do the things you want to do without hurting you in the long run financially.
Greg, you have convinced us all on the importance of budgeting. How can parents develop a holiday budget for their kids? Because I know that's always difficult.
Well, first, parents, should decide on the money that their kids will use for their holiday spending. It could be the money that they have saved from babysitting or chores or part-time jobs or a specific amount of money that you give them or a combination of the above, right? And then parents can use this opportunity to teach the kids why they need to create the budget and the consequences they face when they don't budget. So finally, making a list, naming the people for whom you will buy and the amount you will spend for each person just helps them stay within a budget so that, they're not stuck with or spend a lot more than they had anticipated going into the holiday season.
Right, right. Now, Greg, ads are everywhere influencing kids, and a lot of ads, I will be honest with you, are on social media apps that they use, like TikTok and all of that. And those ads are especially enticing to shop impulsively because you'll see notifications that say limited time sale. How can kids become savvy holiday shoppers?
There's a lot of strategies that parents can implement, to help the kids not fall victim to these purchasing impulsively specifically. First, parents can help kids develop a list of gift ideas for the people they are purchasing for, and then decide if it fits with these, quote unquote, as you mentioned, limited time sales, and see if it works. And parents can teach their children that, sometimes waiting 24 hours before buying an item will help them realize whether or not that item is actually going to be something that makes sense for them to purchase. So they're not just being influenced emotionally, and that's the impulse buying, right? Is being convinced emotionally that they might be missing out or that loss, and that's why we go to buy in those limited time scenarios. You can also teach the kids about price comparing. If they price compare, parents can make it a game. If kids save $5 on an item, they can save that $5 for themselves or keep it to spend on something else. So they can learn how to just not, take the price as given, but shop and try to be more effective and not spend the type of money that they do just by buying impulsively. And then if kids can't afford an item, they can decide, if they want to either save for that item or purchase something different to possibly make a gift. So the goal is always to stay within the budget, which will teach them very sound principles moving forward as they begin to have, those lifestyle budgets that we all have as adults.
Now, Greg, you state that you are never too young to start investing to get the benefit of compound interest. Parents can teach kids to use money that's left over from the holiday budget, working extra shifts at work, or monetary gifts that they've received to start investing. How can kids do that when everyone is spending during the holidays?
Well, the ultimate goal is to help the kids and young adults to secure their financial future. So when kids learn healthy financial habits at a young age, like being financially responsible, becomes automatic for them, just like brushing their teeth or putting on a car seat belt. And saving is always a smart decision, and it is part of the budget. That's what we teach people. When you budget, the most important part of your budget is to pay yourself first. And investing early is one of the smartest things kids can do because of the value of compound interest, how it grows over time. You've probably heard these examples before, Dee, but if you have a 10-year-old that invested $50 at 7%, they would have a little over 7,000 in 10 years. If they kept that money in their, invested and then invested $100 a month instead of 50, now they're in their 20s, and after another 10 years, they would have over $29,000. And when they're in their 30s, if they start investing, 250 and so on, and you keep building on it. We tell people what's probably the most difficult thing is if you start later, you see this very overwhelming number to hit your goals and objectives. But if you start building these habits at a young age and you're constantly just adding on, the first $50 I started with was a lot way back when, and that's just a small part of the things that we're doing moving forward. So it's much more to challenge to achieve these types of habits if you start investing later, because hey, I got to start with $1,000 a month in order to hit my goals instead of just adding on to what you've been doing over your entire lifetime.
Greg, I want to end our conversation for today and actually for this year by speaking about philanthropy. Indiana residents are very charitable. How can kids learn about finances through charitable giving?
Well, there's so many programs. We have, like, even in our church, an angel tree type of program, where it actually teaches them that, not everybody has the benefits of the gifts and the opportunities that they do, and it reshifts their thinking from wanting to giving and helping out these people. And you could teach older kids to set aside a tiny portion of their earnings for charitable giving. Teach them about tithing. Give them a core break like the IRS gives tax breaks, so to speak. And for the younger kids, starting out by simply giving things that are important to them, like donating a book, unused toys, clothes that they're not using. Teaching them how to appreciate what they have and how they can help others that are less fortunate in the future. And this is very, very impactful, I think. It's one of my passions. We do a lot of that stuff even quarterly here at our organization. We just had our clients were phenomenal and just had a huge toy drive for the Northwest Indiana kids. I think we raised over 600 toys in a day.
Wow.
So these are all things that will carry on. I remember the angel tree when I was a kid in church, right?
Hmm.
And these types of things have you appreciate more of what you have and even think more about how you can help others. And you give, and when you give, you receive.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, I just had the Northwest Indiana commander from the Salvation Army on recently, and he spoke about the Angel Tree program and the need. And so, absolutely, that is actually an excellent way for children to start to see that there is a need for children that look just like them, that live in their same community, and to give back.
And
Think that
as a parent, I tell you, it is very, very rewarding when you see when your kids act accordingly and do something. Say, "Hey, Dad, I want to do this for the church, or I want to do this for somebody in the community, or for an elder." I mean, that's very, very gratifying to see that they have that compassion and that consideration for other people around them.
they model what they see, and so you're doing an excellent job. Greg Hammer is the president and CEO of Hammer Financial Group. Greg, I really enjoy whenever we have an opportunity to chat. I hope that you have a lovely holiday season, and I look forward to connecting with you again in 2024.
Thanks so much, Dee. You have a great Christmas and a good New Year, and I'll look forward to seeing you and talking to you in January.